Good afternoon, everyone. I know people are getting in. So we'll let everyone in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you can make it with us today. I think we got everybody in. Right, there's one more. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Welcome, welcome, welcome to GT Tuesday in the afternoon. We got some great things happening today. We got some great presenters with us. And so we're going to go ahead and get rolling as we get into this. So we got a robust agenda for today. We have our own TA representative from Financial Compliance, Peggy Watts. She will be here to talk about GT allotment. And then we got Mrs. Pat Hardy and Carla Cheshire talking about Texas America 250. And then we have Dr. oh my goodness, Dr. Todd Kettler, who will be talking about Baylor Tip today. And then, we typically roll out with our Q&A and our questions. And so thank you for joining us. But, I always start out with a couple of things. Hopefully everyone is doing well. We are, for our wellness check, just, did everyone enjoy your spring break? You're, getting geared up for testing. Are everybody ready? And then, or are you ready? Are you packed and ready to go to leadership this weekend? So if you drop it in the chat, we will truly appreciate that. Hopefully everyone had a good time and got some rest. And as you know, we always start out with our state definition for gifted and talented. We're all looking for those students who perform at or shows the potential for or performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, and environment. So really looking at how we are doing that in the intellectual, creative, or artistic area. Also, what is their capacity for leadership? And then thinking about that specific academic fields, how are we serving our kids in those areas specifically? And then what does that look like? How are our students demonstrating those skills in those self-directed learning, thinking, research, and communication by the development of innovative products and performances? Because I know that it is that season coming up also. You're getting ready for those fairs. I've been invited to judge one this year, so I get to go and see some students present. So what are our high school students doing? They're getting ready to graduate, but do they have those professional quality products that you or performances as a benefit of the services that you have provided over the years in their that they've been with you for their community as a part of your educational services? So hopefully we can say yes. And so we're going to go get rolling. And our resident invited members. I see Kristen Graham is on to give us some highlights, some updates, and some information. So Kristen.
Thanks so much, Monica. Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Graham. I'm the Deputy Director for the Texas Association for the Gifted and Talented, or TAGT, as you may have come to know it as. TAGT is your professional association. We are your home for ways to connect with your peers and colleagues from across the state. I'm a former teacher, former GT coordinator, and a longtime TAGT member before I came on staff. and got to participate in so many of the things TAGT has to offer before I was now on this side of it. And I can truly say when I first started off in my GT coordinator role in a rural district in East Texas, TAGT was my lifeline. It was the thing that helped, me connect to so many people that I now know from across the state through conferences and other programming, through serving on committees and doing, participating in lots of other ways. And so if you're maybe found your way to this call, this is your first time or maybe a few times and you're still trying to find your way, I would highly encourage you to check out TAGT. We have a leadership conference coming up just this next weekend. And so it might be too late, but maybe not. If there's any way that you can swing attending, coming, there's probably lots of people on this call who can attest that it's one of the events a year that is just so valuable because everyone that you're sitting next to in a session, at lunch, talking to exhibitors with, everyone's in a very similar role as you. They're making decisions and trying to solve things for their campuses and districts. And we're really looking forward to this weekend, to getting everyone together. And we have some special opportunities for you during the event to be grouped with people in similar district size and type, and to get to talk about topics from the state plan and other things that will hopefully help you feel like you're leaving the event not just having gone to some great sessions and heard some great things, but feeling like you've really expanded your network and have even just a few more people that you've got their cell phone number now, and you've got their email, and you're building your really just professional cohort. I know I had those people in my phone and in my inbox that I would reach out to and just say, hey, what are you doing about this? Or, are you having this issue too? Or what did you do? The TAGT and the leadership conference coming up are both just really amazing opportunities for you to continue to grow your network and just become better together across the state of Texas. So highly encourage you, check us out. We would love to have you there. We have lots of other ways for you to engage as a TAGT member outside of our in-person opportunities. We have webinars for members. We have opportunities for other members to come share what they're doing. Most recently, Amanda Smith and one of her colleagues from Alvin shared about how they're stacking a couple of different AP courses to create more flexibility and room in student schedules at the secondary level. Lots of other things for you to learn about and connect with each other on throughout the year. We do book studies and lots of fun things. So anyway, I dropped the link in the chat for you to check out in case you still need to register. Also, the schedule, the app is there. So that second link that I posted is, or third link actually, is the link to our app. So you can view it like on your computer and then download it on your phone so you can browse the sessions. Todd, who's I hear is going to be on the call today. Todd Kettler is one of our keynote speakers on Tuesday, talking about how you can just really reimagine what gifted and talented education can look like in your district. And then closing the conference, actually, Meredith Austin, I'm not sure if she's on here right now, but she will be helping lead and facilitate a session on going through the most recent updates to the state plan, talking about implementation, and also you're going to be grouped in similar sized district groups based on the topic you want to dive into, and work on some action plans for how to address areas where you may be a little out of compliance. But you'll have a cohort there where you can work with together and chat with to see how you can move things in the right direction. So again, hope everyone can make it to the conference in Round Rock, but if not, engage as a member, ask questions on Connect. We love our community. So that's what's coming up for TGT. Oh, I didn't mention GT Awareness Week. The week after, the week of April 7th through 11th, is GT Awareness Week, and I'll put the link in the chat. That's basically a platform and avenue for you to celebrate and bring awareness to gifted and talented education in your district. We also offer a free webinar on Tuesday, April 8th at 6:30. Joy Lawson Davis is going to be with us on Tuesday evening talking about how you can help students advocate for themselves, how to help give students voice and choice and all those things. And so you can register for free. When I was a GT coordinator, I would host a parent night at one of my campuses, and we'd have a live watch party, and we provide a facilitator's guide. And so you can use that as a great opportunity to connect with parents, community members at your campus. And or you can, if Tuesday the 8th doesn't work, we record them and they're available on the website, and you can pick a date and time of your choosing and show the recording and still have a great conversation. So anyway, I put some of these links in the chat. Thank you again, Monica, for giving me a few minutes, and see so many of you this weekend.
All right. Thank you. Have a great one. But I know you'll stay on for a little while. All right. And so I'm going to stop sharing. I have Peggy Watts from TA and our financial compliance, and she's going to talk about what everyone's questioning. I got one today on GT allotment. Peggy, welcome.
Thank you, Monica. Let me figure out how to share my screen.
Should have a little green button. It's somewhere on the bottom of your screen.
Share.
Or it might be under more.
Yeah. Now I have to find which screen. Screen one, screen two. Okay. Okay. Hopefully I'm sharing my screen. Okay, everybody. Anyway, my name is Peggy Watts. I'm work in the Financial Compliance Division. I'm one of the managers here at TEA. And Miss Brewer, she invited me to come by and say a few words to all of you about our GT allotment program.
Okay, so Peggy, if you we see you, we do not see a second screen.
You do not
If
see
you're
a
present.
second screen. It's showing that this, so you don't see the screen that says gifted and talented pick 21?
No.
No. Okay, how about,
There we go.
okay, there it is.
There
Sorry
you go.
about that, you guys.
No problem.
You live and you learn, right? Okay. So anyway, like I was saying, my name is Peggy Watts, and so anyways, I'm here to talk to you about our GT allotment program. And this is going to be short and sweet, I promise you. Anyway, I'm just going to give a brief overview on the GT allotment, go over a couple FAQs, and then let you know where you can find additional information. Okay, so let's get started. There we go. Anyway, the GT allotment, this is established by our state legislators, and it's used to assess students and provide those GT services to meet the needs of those students, you know, and this is beyond just your basic education program. So anyway, the chart, and this chart comes from the FASRAG. Anyway, it shows what costs can be included and what it won't cover. For example, like your AP courses that are designed as part of your GT program, you know, those costs can be coded to your PIC 21. However, your AP courses that are not designated as part of the GT program, those need to be coded to your PIC 11. All right. And this is my favorite slide. This is my favorite slide to add to any presentation I do about allotment programs. Anyway, all of these supplemental allotment programs should be only used for cost in addition to just your basic educational allotment, which is, you know, your PIC 11. So before you spend any money on any of the allotments programs, you need to ask yourself some questions. There's a couple questions on the screen, but basically you're asking, okay, is this something that the school has to provide anyway? If the answer is yes, then you're probably running the risk of supplanting. So you should not be coding any of those costs to the supplemental allotment programs. Okie doke. Let me get this thing to move. There it goes. Okay. As far as spending compliance, some of the allotments, have a 55% spending requirement, whereas others have a 100%. And GT is one of those with 100%. Look, of course, like over the years now, GT, the percentage of spending requirement has changed for GT. It used to be 55% several years ago. And then with House Bill 3, back in the 86th legislative session, it sort of moved GT under the basic allotment. And then in the 87th legislative session with House Bill 1525, it was moved back to its own standalone allotment with a 100% spending requirement. And that's where we are today. What our legislators do in the 89th legislative session, I'm not sure, but today, anyway, we're at 100% spending requirement. And also, this testing calculation, we only look at your direct cost. So as far as, what are your direct costs? Anyway, I included this slide here that has, the different functions that are considered, your direct cost and which functions are considered indirect costs. And as far as like, your account codes, it pretty much, includes all your 61 to 6400s. And it also includes some of your debt service accounts that are related to those, what are the right to use assets, like your right to use leases, your subscription-based information technology agreements, things like that. But other than that, any other like debt service cost or capital outlay, your 6600s, those would be excluded from the calculation. And as far as like your fund codes, yeah, we look at, your general fund. We look at 199, 420 if you're a charter. And we also include 4 of the ESSER funds, 266, 281, 282, and 283. Those are the only ESSER funds that are included in the calculation. So like your T-class program, those costs would not be included in our calculation. Okay, let's get to, there it goes. Okay, so here's sort of an example of what our testing calculation looks like to see if a school's meeting their spending requirements. We look at your summary of finance. We look at the allotment, the allotment revenues. We look at your expenditures, and we do a calculation to see, what percentage, is being spent. And so in this particular example, and this is for the school's GT program, for this particular school, for their summary of finance, they, it was about $55,000 GT allotment. As far as spending, they spent about $27,000. So as far as percentage wise, they only spent like 50% of their GT allotment, whereas GT has a 100%, requirement. So anyway, they were short on their spending. So if, in this case, what you can do is you can look at your summary of finance reports. And I've got an example of that on the right-hand side of the screen. As you can see, like their legislative projected estimates. Initially, they were projecting, a GT allotment of about $46,000. And then, at year end, we've got like almost $55,000 allotment. So, so why did the allotment increase? So to find out why the allotment increased, you can go down in your summary of finance report. I'll go on to the next slide here. Anyway, just scooch down in your summary of finance report, and you'll come to a line that says total cost of tier 1. There will be a link to the tier 1 detail report. So anyway, you'll click on that link, and that will open up a new report, a tier 1 detail report. And there's an example on the right-hand side of the screen. And anyway, and you can see not like initially, in the tier 1 report, it's got like a detail of all the allotment programs. So scooch down to the, your GT program. And it'll show that initially they were projecting like 108 students, to be participating in the GT program. whereas by the end of the year, they actually served 128 GT students. So anyway, that's the reason why the allotment went from 46,000, all the way up to 55,000, because they had an additional 20 kids. And something else that you can also consider looking at to see why the allotment amount changed, whether it increased or decreased. You can look at your, some of your PEIMS reports. I've got a couple of them on the screen. These are from your summer PEIMS submissions. And you can also look at your school 6 weeks reports, to see, how many students, for each of the different programs were being reported. Okay, so let's go. Okay. As far as like the testing calculations, to test for compliance with the allotment programs, TEA does a rolling 3-year average. So with that, what I mean is, like, with each review cycle, we'll drop off the oldest year and then we'll pick up a new one. Like, for instance, last summer, we looked at FY 21, 22, and 23. So this summer, when we look at it, we'll drop off FY 21 and then we'll add FY 24. So with that, what we do is we look at the summary of finance. We do, a 3-year average of that. We look at your expenditures that were reported in your mid-year PEIMS submissions. And we do a 3-year average of those, and then we come up with the percentage spent. So, like on the chart on the screen, anyway, for this particular school, their summary of finance, they averaged about $250,000. Their expenditures that they spent on average over those 3 years, 225. So they were short on their GT spending, because remember, this is a 100% spending requirement. So they were short $25,000. And so they only, expended like 90% instead of the 100. So in cases like this, anyway, if a school's not in compliance, anyway, there's an expectation that the school will, number one, increase their spending, to make up for the shortfall, but also to that the school should verify, their coding, make sure that the costs are being coded to the right PIC code. Also check your coding for your student attendance and how you're coding your teachers. And one thing that you can do to help prevent non-compliance is, and I always recommend monitoring your summary of finance reports, your expenditures, and doing so on a regular basis, preferably monthly. That way you have time to make those adjustments before the year ends. Because by the time your external auditor shows up the following fall, the year's already passed. So, that ship's done sailed. So it's too late to find, some more uses to spend the money on those funds. And before I go on to the next slide, anyway, yeah, as far as like monitoring any of your allotment programs, TASPO has an awesome tool on their website that you can use to help with the calculation. Anyway, I'll see if I can put a link in the chat for you in a minute after I finish my presentation. But anyway, yeah, with this tool, you pretty much just enter in your 6-digit county district number, and all the previous year's data is pretty much in there. All you have to do is enter in, like, the information for this current year for FY 25, and it'll calculate, your compliance with the different allotment programs. This is an awesome tool. So yeah, I'll put it in a link in the chat for you. Let's see, what's the next slide? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the results of our testing from last year. And anyway, and we look at all the public schools. We look at all ISDs, all the open enrollment charters. So we looked at over 1,200 schools. And of the 1,200 schools, like the chart shows, only 94 were not meeting compliance. So this means well over 90% of you are doing an awesome job. So kudos to all of you. Okay. And let's see, there we go. FAQs. I don't really have a whole lot of receive a whole lot of FAQs about the GT program. I think it's because the TA's GT program team does such an awesome job on providing information on their webpage. But I do have a couple that's related to teachers, so I'll go ahead and share those with you. Okay, question number 1. Must 100% of the students in a class be identified as GT for the teacher's salary to be an eligible GT expense, or is there some sort of a threshold? And what this is asking is like, for example, I don't know, you have an AP course and it has both GT and non-GT students, but maybe only 90% of the class are GT students. So in that case, no, there's no threshold. So anyway, yeah, that portion of the teacher's salary can be coded to your PIC 21. Okay, number 2. What if the school gave their GT teachers some extra duty pay? Maybe they were taking on some additional responsibilities for GT, got some extra GT training. Is that allowable? And also, is it okay to, apportion off part of their, allocate part of their benefits, like their TRS pension, their healthcare benefits, stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, all those costs can be coded to PIC 21. That's allowable. That'd be okay. Okay, additional information. Okay, this is our state allotment programs webpage. This is an excellent resource that I highly recommend you checking out. Anyway, there's information about all the allotment programs. We have the education code for each one. We've got videos. There's a FAQ PDF that I update frequently throughout the entire year. It's also got information about the annual financial reports J4 schedule. And but the J4 schedule only includes information about state comp ed and bilingual education allotment. But I thought I'd mention it in case, there's some CFOs or some accounting and finance staff that oversee all the allotment programs. But at any rate, yeah, this is a great resource, and I'll try to put this link to this one as well in the chat. Okay. Other resources, yeah, like I said, TA's GT team, they have an awesome website, the FASRAG, the FAR appendices. This is the first place that I always look to whenever I get questions about, spending, can we spend money on this, that, I always look in the FAR appendices. Our FAQs, you can look at those. Like I said, I update those frequently. And also here's the code section for the GT allotment program. Okay, that pretty much wraps up my presentation. If you ever have any questions about GT or any of the allotment programs, you can send us email us a question to stateallotmentprograms@ta.texas.gov. And with that, if you have any other questions right now, I'd be happy to entertain them. Let's see.
So we got one in the chat.
Trying to find the chat.
I'll read it for you. So you mentioned that approved resources must be specifically for GT. Is there some gray areas regarding resources that are targeted for GT learners, but that can benefit all learners? So here's the example, and then Blake might have to come off mute to talk about what is Beast Academy. But for example, a district, okay, invest in something like Beast Academy that can be great for gifted learners, but also benefit high ability students and for students who would practice skills. Would a subscription to something like Beast Academy be denied if it's open only to GT students?
If it's only open to GT students,
Sorry, I think I meant that the other way. If it's open to everyone.
If it's
I edited it a couple times and didn't change that.
I apologize. Yeah. Okay, so it's open to some of the some of them are GT students, but some not, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that would be a gray area. I would go ahead and maybe allocate, figure out how many GT versus non-GT students and allocate the cost that way.
Okay, so that kind of answers Dr. Dearman's question too.
All right. So here's the next one. If we can have a school within a school, so zone students and GT students are bused in, can utilities, electricity, water, etc., be coded to PIC 21?
Well, your facilities, function 51, it is one of the direct costs. So, I don't know how many, but that's usually like, I'm thinking of like, Career Tech usually does that. But it's a standalone school. Maybe I don't understand the question.
So it's like a neighborhood school, but then they have a school within the school where the GT students are coming in that's also housed at that campus. So you got your regular school, but then you got like a little subset of GT students that are housed in that building that come for instruction. So, but and I'm gonna also throw a lifeline out there. I'm going to say also there's other funds out there before you get to electricity and water from your GT services.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we should be the last end all. It should not be the first all. I will put
You-
it that way.
Correct. Monica, correct. Yeah. For GT, yeah, utilities, I usually don't see that many costs for GT, as far as utilities go.
Okay. So the next one is if you have a accelerated student, so that a student is going to an advanced math class or something, a higher level class at another campus, and this one is at high school, can they use PIC 21 for transportation?
Transportation, transportation would be a function 34, and that function's excluded from the calculation.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, to kind of back it up too, because I just kind of want to have clarification on this one. If if resources are being provided on a Title I campus, or okay, we'll start with Title I, and we have funds there, plus we have GT, but we're going to pull part of the Title I sources to also cover resources with GT. Is that allowable? And part of those sources honestly would be used for part of the Title I, but it'd also be split with GT as well. And so can you combine funds?
I'm not sure what you mean by combined fund.
Okay, let me just give you let's say that there's software that was going to be purchased for a campus. Okay. And so part of those students are going to be GT, and then there's going to be a portion that are also title students.
Okay.
So can we combine funds in order to concert our efforts and try to purchase software?
Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, as far as like the software, and it would be like that subscription-based information technology agreements, something like that.
Right,
Then,
right.
yeah, then yeah, you could allocate, figure out how many, GT students you have versus non-GT, and that portion of the cost you can code that to PIC 21.
Okay. Okay, because this is actually a real life example, and part of what they're wanting to be able to do is mostly use it for GT.
Okay.
But if there are kids that are accelerated but not
Yeah.
necessarily identify GT, then that they could also have access to that.
Yeah, and then that way they could use their other funds for that. Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So last question, and then because we do have two more, and then but we'll keep your questions, and then I will also share, and then I think Peggy will can come back one more time. In
Okay,
May,
yeah.
I think she had another date that she can come back in May if we had questions.
Right.
So for the GT funding that is embedded in the basic allotment. So basically, Peggy, you know the history, and then we had that GT funds in the basic allotment, which is I call it the allocation. That's how
Yeah, I
think
do
of it.
too, yeah.
And is it assumed 100% spending, but there's no calculation available from TA or monitor to confirm compliance? I'm gonna start out, and then Peggy, you can correct me how if you need to. So with that GT allocation that's out there in the basic allotment, that was under the way that was laid out. That was total local district control on how that money was spent, how much they spent. So it could go from $5 to $110,000. So it's a local district decision. No TA at once we moved out of that to the allotment. No, we got our allotment back. TA decided the other side of finance decided not to print out that calculation. So no, that calculation is not there. Now I'm not sure how the monitoring is working on that to confirm compliance, because yeah, I'm gonna leave that one alone. That side of the street alone.
Yeah, no, the only thing that we're monitoring now is the compliance with the PIC 21, that the actual standalone GT allotment.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing, and yeah,
Yeah.
thank goodness that they put it back as its own standalone
Standalone. Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yes. So thank you, Peggy. Thank you for some great information. And I do have her deck. So yes, you will be getting a copy of it. And everything is out there on the website also. And so our next presenters is Mrs. Pat Hardy and Carla Cheshire talking about Texas America 250. I'm going to stop share. I will put the bit.ly if you did not put it in your link for you, Carla, but there you go. She put it in there. So and thank you for your questions. As I said, if we have time, if Peggy stays on, we can come back to them at the end also. So Dr. Ms. Hardy.
Ms. Hardy?
Ready?
Ready. All right. Well, first of all, Peggy, I'm sorry, but you sure bring back bad memories of working in the school for 47 years. I'm so glad that I've retired. Everybody look forward to it because you don't have to hear all those numbers again. But Monica, I want to say thank you to you for allowing me to be a part of this. My friend, and I call her my partner in crime, is Carla Cheshire, and she's someone that worked with me in the district on GT stuff for a number of years and worked wonderfully. I mean, she was so fantastic. It was great to work with her on that. And she knew I was working with, I'm on the commission for the Texas 250. And she said, oh my goodness, she was looking at this. And I think, and she thinks this is going to have a lot of opportunities for you to write your programs for the next years or so. And I'm kind of curious as to how many of you that are on this Zoom meeting right now even know what I'm talking about when I say Texas America 250. Would you do so by raising your hand? Oh, good. I like to know that I'm needed here then. So America 250, Texas America 250, is a celebration of the 250th birthday of the United States. And I'm looking at this group, and I don't think many of you were around in 1976, but in 1976, we did the 200-year anniversary of our country. And in in 2026, we're going to do the 250th year of our celebration of our country. So I'm going to let you see a little, a few minutes of a program of explaining this to you, and then I'll give you some more information on that. So we're going to have a short or brief video.
After 247 years, you could say, I've seen some things. Building a democracy from scratch isn't easy. Or being home to hundreds of millions from everywhere on Earth. Fact is, there have been challenges since the very beginning. Uphill battles, setbacks, and injustices. But you know, Americans, we got grit. We fight for what we need. And what's right. What we want for the next generation. We take care of each other when it gets rough. We inspire each other. Innovate together. Get the job done. And create so much opportunity. Heck, that's probably why folks have been inspired to come here for so long. And now, we've got a pretty big anniversary coming up. The big 250. So, in honor of that, we're launching America's Invitation. A chance to share your thoughts on our past, the heroes you love, and your dreams for the road ahead. Because your dreams will be our future. Your story is the American story.
Okay, this is the 250th year of the Declaration of Independence. And that's what we begin as the 4th of July is the celebration for the Declaration of Independence, the beginning of our country. The mission of Texas America is to celebrate and commemorate that 250 years and make the whole state of Texas aware of its role in the formation of the state of Texas and in our country. And you'll see there, you will have this program to be able to reach back and get the Texas America 250 website. So that's what you have on the screen there. Okay. One of the things that comes up is what are the goals of this event? Number one, if some of you know me from my role in the State Board of Education, you know that I'm very high on the idea of civic education and social studies. And one of these goals is to increase our civic education. One of the things that I think about when I think of that is the patriotism and love of country and so forth. And so that's going to be one of the main goals, but they have other goals. We'd like to encourage Texans to unite in commemorating the quincentennial, I can't ever say that, but that's 250 years of our history of our country. To promote scholarship and research that illuminates Texas's role in the formation of a nation, recognize the service and sacrifices of veterans who have protected our liberties and independence for future generations, and to share information about Texas events and activities planned in your community for the 250th celebration. And that's where it really comes in for the GT program, because a lot of things will be offered or created by your GT students throughout this next year, and things I hope that will stay around for years to come. there are a lot of different groups that are taking part in this. As I said, there's a 5-person commission, but many of these things are involved with it. One of the things that was just added today was the Scouting of America and the formerly known as the Boy Scouts. But all these different museums and different organizations, excuse me, historical organizations, as well as museums and so forth, are participating in this celebration. Everybody slow today. So what can you do? What we'd really like to see you do is gather leadership from your community and discuss opportunities for celebrations and commemorations. And then let us know about it. And there's the contact information once you come up with whatever you might be doing for your school district or your community. We would like for you to send that to us, and we'll keep it on the website so we can share and make sure everyone knows what's going on in your particular area of Texas. These are some of the things that have already been started. This is actually a program. This says GT all over it to me. It's called the America's Field Trip. And unfortunately, the deadline for this year is April the 16th. But this same program will be going on for next year. So I'm hoping that some of you will see this and incorporate this in your GT programs, because it is a great opportunity for kids to do some individual thinking and creative thinking. All those things like the poetry and the music and so forth can be added into these things, and some really cool prizes to it. So a family trip and everything, and there'll be students, there'll be a number of them given away. So keep your eye out for that if you're too late to do it for this year, and hopefully you'll do it for next year. Another one which everybody can participate in, and I love this is to nominate America's Unsung Champions. Our American Story is an oral and visual storytelling project aimed at collecting and preserving our nation's stories. This is your opportunity to nominate a living person, a friend, a family member, neighbors, community leader, whose story you think needs to be shared and preserved. Every story is worth sharing, and that's the address to where you will share that, and it'll be kept on the website. So this is a ongoing project. We hope for years to come that you will be able to refer back to this. Okay. This is something that if any of you are still out and about in the next 2 weeks, I know most of you probably already had your spring break, but the American Revolution Experience is a traveling exhibit, and it's found right now in Kerrville, Texas, until April the 4th. So this is something that you as an individual, or you might want to take a small group down to Kerrville to see that as a part of the 250 celebration. I'm hoping there'll be some more of those coming in, and you'll be able to find it on the website if we get more of them here in Texas. Some of you are familiar with a group called Texas Law Related Education, and they are right now, along with some other different groups, working on lesson plans that directly go back and are focused to the Declaration of Independence. And this is grades K through 12. So these will be available in about the time school starts in 2025, August of 2025. And my envisionment is to see all of you, with you guys taking the lead, since you're the first people to hear about this, to work this in your schools and in your local communities, so that this will be a year celebration building up to July 4th, 2026. And hopefully it will develop enough interest and love of country that this will continue on in a positive way. These are some of the things that can be done. The very first one says, paint a fire hydrant. Well, when I've asked people if they remember, they're more my age or not quite my age, because I was actually teaching school back in 1976, but these people would say, oh yeah, that was when we painted the fire hydrants in all the cities and towns across the state. They had groups, whether it was the Boy Scouts or whether it was, you know, Campfire Girls, whatever, they decorated the fire hydrants in these little towns and cities and so forth. And when they were younger, that's what they remembered as something that they participated in. But look at all these things. These are so GT. Film a video, write an original song or play, create sculptures, paints, choreograph, dance. Doesn't that sound like it would work into any of your programs and your schools? So there are a number of things that the choice is up to you and your students, how you'd like to present that. But we want to know about it. We want to see about it and advertise it on the website. Okay. My name is Pat Hardy. Oh, first of all, does anybody have any questions? No questions? Oh, that's a good sign. I explained it okay. My name is Pat Hardy, and I'm one of the commissioners for that, and I've given you my email and phone number if you would like to call and ask me about something or have any questions or concerns about it. We, in the state of Texas, I know this is hard to believe, but the legislature did not set aside funding, but we're trying to get the funding. And if we do that, if you'll keep up with the website, we're going to be trying to get small grants so that cities or groups could ask for a grant and help the financing of whatever celebration you're going to be doing for the 250th birthday. I believe that's my last slide, isn't it? Yep. So now my friend Carla Cheshire is making the connections directly to the GT program, and I'm going to give her my chair.
Thank you, Pat, for giving me the chance to tie this all into with our GT students. My video is not working on my computer, my camera. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong, but we're sharing a computer today. So if you will, Pat, if you'll go to the computer and be my clicker today. So Pat's going to be my clicker. But like Pat said, whenever she and I were talking about America 250 and Texas America 250, and she was talking about all of the activities that they would like to see happening. I told her, I said, this is just totally GT all over. And so even though this is really what we really envision is for communities to be involved with this, it could start in the classroom, in your districts, with your GT leaders, because we all know that they love these leadership opportunities. It's aligned with our state goal. Most of you, all of you in here know what our state goal is, and Monica showed it earlier, that they will create innovative products. They will perform in performances. They will also, your high school students will have created advanced products and performances. So that is aligned. What they can do with this Texas America 250 is aligned with that. Also, what's also interesting is that in some of the standards in our Texas state plan, these are aligned as well. And so if you look at the curriculum and instruction, I listed a few of the accountability standards that I felt like that could help you meet these needs with our Texas America 250. One of them is in 4.2, where they pursue areas of interest of selected disciplines through guided and independent research. This America Texas 250 is definitely going to require some research. And so what better way to tie the two together while you're serving your GT students? The 4.3 talks about those advanced level products. And so that also is aligned with it. And then 4.4 and 4.3 talk about the Texas Performance Standards projects. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But if you're not familiar with those and you're not using those in your district, I want to encourage you to use this time to take a look at those projects. They're called tasks. They're lesson plans, if you're not familiar with them. Lesson plans that were created specifically for GT students, but you know, you might use them with any student that needs that that extra challenge in your classroom. And so this Texas America 250 is a great way to incorporate and tie in some of these TPSB projects. Click. Also, family community involvement, the accountability column. This also includes products and performances that are shared with the community. So with Texas America 250, you can share these projects with your community and also work with the community. Most of you are familiar with the accountability standards in our Texas state plan, but there's also exemplary standards that are provided for those students, the districts that want to create a more robust, excellent program for their GT students. And so some of the exemplary standards are community volunteers are organized and provided an orientation about working with our GT students. This would be a great time to bring together your community members and let those GT students be the leaders in guiding them along, maybe planning and working together. 6.10 is also where they can work together, making liaisons with business and community organizations. And then there's another one on the next slide, please. There's a couple under the exemplary column in family community involvement. Presentations are given to the community groups and organizations to solicit their involvement. So you could think, I'm thinking that you could have your GT students actually create presentations of things that they would like to see in their community and work with those community leaders. And then a data bank of resources is compiled for use by their students. And so you can have that also as well. I think so. Just click off of that. There you go. All right. Up there, click the slideshow again up at the top right-hand side. That's it. Just click it. Don't do anything there. Just click. You're going to click like you're selecting it. So with your left, it's left, but with your right finger. Click off of that.
Not doing anything.
Okay, I'll come help you. Sorry. Okay, we're back now. Sorry for that little
Yeah.
brief.
Because I would say also, Carla, you know, if you still have the difficulty, we also have your deck, so we can share that. So yeah.
Okay, well, we should be okay. We only have a couple of more slides to go. What I wanted to, but thank you, Monica. We might have to take you up on that offer. One other thing, this last part of this section of our slide deck, I wanted to just show you some of the Texas Performance Standards projects that I found. These are tasks that I found that I felt like align themselves perfectly with the Texas America 250. One of them is Pursuit of Passion, and that's in K through 12. That's all grade levels. And that is a task that guides the students, takes them through the research process. And so this would be perfect for any type of Texas America 250 project they wanted to work on. Notice too, in 2nd and 4th grade, these lessons, some of them are available in Spanish. In 6th grade, this particular task is culture shock, and it specifically says country, but it doesn't have to be country. If you want to adapt it to state, county, or city, you could do that. And even with all of these, if it's not a grade level that you specifically teach, you might adapt it from 4th grade to 3rd grade, or from 4th grade to 5th grade. They're aligned with the TEKS. That's what's the great thing about these Texas Performance Standards projects. If you're not familiar with them, they're statewide standards and assessments system, which includes not only the instructional materials, they're aligned with the TEKS, and they're designed to provide assistance with our districts as they meet the state goal for our GT students. It's referenced, the Texas Performance Standards Project is referenced 7 times in our Texas State Plan for the Education of the Gifted, and they are also endorsed by our commissioner. He has a letter of endorsement in that state plan. 4 more of these that I found are 7th grade and 8th. Okay. So it's okay. It's all right. But just take some time. You have access to this presentation. I put the link to the bit.ly in it several times in the chat box. So you have access to this presentation. Take some time to look at the TPSP projects and see which task might fit you best, and see what you can do with your students and how your students can take the lead on initiating and having the Texas America 250 activity in your districts, in your communities, cities, towns. I think it would be a great opportunity. Monica, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for putting up with me once again with technology.
No problem. No problem. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Ms. Hardy, for sharing today. And then we have one more presenter, Dr. Todd Kettler from Baylor TIP, Talent and Identification Program, if I can speak today. Welcome, Todd, and you are free to share.
Can you see my shared screen, Monica?
We can see your shared screen. Well, you're not in presentation mode, but we see your screen.
I'm trying to get there. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here with you guys and hear these great opportunities that have already been shared today. I'm going to share a little bit about our Baylor TIP program here in Waco. We're pretty excited about the work that we've been doing, and we've just just finished doing our 7th grade talent search identification for the current year. Just want to start with why we do it. Baylor TIP is meant to provide life-changing opportunities to talented adolescents, and I believe that we've been accomplishing that goal based on the students' testimonies and reflections after being in our programs. We also create caring communities for adolescents with high academic abilities so that they can meet friends and peers that they feel like are similar to them in interest and academic capabilities. And we also engage in quite a bit of research and development so that we're constantly seeking to provide better tools, better models, better ways to develop student talent. So just a little bit about the foundation of why we do what we do, if you will. We started with this idea from Paul Olszewski-Kubilius that we care about optimal growth. And for optimal growth, gifted students need 3 things in combination. They need strong school services. And within those school services, we seek comprehensive programming, meaning that we have all curriculum areas of the core curriculum available across all those grade levels, very comprehensive in that regard. But that's not even enough. The third element is what we call supplemental learning opportunities. And those include things like weekend and summer programs, online courses, contests, competitions, clubs, and so forth. And I would like to make a quick reference, if I could, back to the state plan in the service design section 3. In 3.2, one of the state plan elements is that districts would share information regarding these type of out-of-school learning opportunities or recognition opportunities and summer camps and programs and so forth. And then also, if you notice in the same section 3.6, out-of-school options are relevant to the student's area of strength are provided by school districts whenever possible. And those options in the exemplary column would meet the needs of the students on a continual basis. So that's how we see ourselves at Baylor TIP. We see ourselves as that partner to help you with those out-of-school options for your gifted kids, and we do it throughout the entire school year. I would say summer's our biggest, heaviest time, but we provide opportunities throughout the year. At Baylor TIP, we have 3 levels of services. All of them are quite advanced. So even just beginning with our academy level, our academy students, when they meet the qualification to be in Baylor TIP through the testing and assessment program, they are demonstrating college readiness. So typically we're looking at kids that are in 7th grade that are demonstrating college readiness at that time. So when we provide programs for those students, those programs are roughly undergraduate level curriculum. So it is quite advanced even at the academy level. But as the students are participating in academy and they come back for multiple opportunities, multiple years, they start moving up and taking on more rigorous learning through our Lyceum classes, and then ultimately our highest level of the Paideia classes as well. So we do have quite a bit of room for students to grow when they become involved in our Baylor TIP program. Just a little bit of history of how we came to this point. In 1983, an instructor at Baylor named Linda Cox started a program called University for Young People. So that program is continuing to operate today. Those are our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd graders today. It was for all the grade levels prior to a few years ago. But we have a 42-year history of providing outstanding summer programs and weekend programs for students. Eventually in 1999, the Center for Gifted Education and Talent Development was formed at Baylor. So we have a 26-year history of the center. And our center has done multiple things from teacher training, testing and assessment. We've done program evaluations. Even recently, we've been working with some schools to provide some consulting on how they could ramp up their gifted education program designs. We have an annual gifted parent conference. In fact, that's coming up on Saturday this weekend. We do it every year in the spring. And we do quite a bit of research on gifted students and talent development. We publish papers, write books, chapters, give conference presentations, all those things that go along with the research. One of the main principles of the talent development model that we use at Baylor TIP is from the classic talent search model that was developed originally by Julian Stanley. So we start with above level testing. The above level testing is used to identify what kids know, but also what they don't know. So that with the above level testing, we have plenty of ceiling to see what they don't quite know yet. And we can actually make customized plans on where they should go from here based on how they score in those tests. We match their curriculum and learning opportunities to their talent levels. We provide beyond school learning opportunities. Most of those are on campus at Baylor. We are also providing some online opportunities now as well. And we've just recently gotten final approval for a satellite site. So we're going to start offering programs at the University of Dallas, the Catholic University in Irving. So that'll be our first satellite site to begin offering programs, and we'll have those coming up this fall semester of 2025. And then one of the other things we do is provide guidance and education for educational and career planning. So we do some interest assessments, values assessments, and then we also have some specialized counselors that provide counseling services for how to develop 4-year plans with the specific intent of aligning to the types of majors the students are interested in at highly competitive and select universities. What are some of the reasons? People ask me quite frequently, why would my kid want to participate in a program like Baylor TIP? Well, Baylor TIP is building on the shoulders of some of the giants who have come before us, particularly Johns Hopkins programs and Northwestern University programs that have been around for close to 40 years. Through those programs, they've done quite a bit of research on what's the value, what's the benefit of participating in these types of talent searches. Well, we break those benefits down into two areas. The first one is self-concept. What we see is when we compare the students who are admitted and participate in talent development to the students who were admitted but actually don't ever come to the talent development opportunities. So the truth is we have students that get admitted and then they don't come to the program. So when we compare the two, or when Johns Hopkins and Northwestern compare the two groups, the ones who are admitted and participate, the ones who are admitted and don't participate, these are the benefits we see. We see that the ones who participate actually have a better understanding of their academic abilities over time. They have increased positive self-images, things like academic self-concept, academic self-efficacy. For instance, we do measure those quite a lot with our students. They report higher educational and career aspirations. They're more likely to accelerate in their area of academic strength. They show greater participation in extracurricular math programs in particular, and they're more likely to pursue STEM careers. STEM programs are our most common program that we offer through Baylor TIP, and I think you would find that that's quite consistent at Johns Hopkins and Northwestern as well. Then we look at the academic outcomes that we see for participation, the same type of participation, those who participate after being accepted compared to those who were accepted and don't. The students who participate tend to earn more honors and awards while they're in high school. They're more likely to earn National Merit commendations, including National Merit semifinalist and finalist commendations. They're more likely to graduate early from high school than their peers. They earn entrance to more selective colleges and universities. And the one that the parents that I speak to quite regularly find most important is they maintain higher GPAs in college than their peers. So in other words, not only do they demonstrate college readiness before they enter our programs, but I think we do a really nice job of developing their talent so that they're quite prepared when they enter college to be successful. Just some basics of how we do our work here. We use an above-level testing program. We worked for several years to develop a test that we call the Indicator of Academic Readiness. It's very similar to SAT or ACT. We like to think of it as kind of a combination of SAT and ACT. We also have an 8-9 version. So we use those tests for students who are applying to be admitted. We give a score report in English, specifically reading and writing, and then also math and science. Those score reports are available to parents immediately after the testing. And our testing is anytime, any place testing. It's highly secure online testing environment. So if a family just registers individually, we'll send them a link within a day or two. And with that link, they can complete the testing at home. And they'll get a score report immediately through a portal after they've completed the test. And those score reports include educational recommendations as well. The IER is a test of college readiness. The score range is 0 to 1,000. So it's 500 possible points in math and science, as well as in reading and writing. It's considered an on-level test. So we did some of our norming with on-level college-bound students in grades 11 and 12. That's how we determined what the college readiness benchmark was from those college-bound 11th and 12th graders. And then we use it as an above-level test for kids in grades 7 through 10. In fact, we just completed our 7th grade talent search admission process. Students can still be admitted, but they wouldn't be invited to the recognition ceremony. We're going to be admitting 305 new 7th graders this year. So we're really excited about that. And those students come from a number of states around the U.S., mostly from Texas, but we also have quite a few students from Mexico and Central America also in our class of 7th graders this year. The 8.9 version is designed to be taken as a predictor of eventual college readiness in the end of 8th grade or beginning of 9th grade. We use it as an above-level assessment for our students seeking admission to Baylor TIP Intermediate, which are our students who test in grades 3 through 6 to start participation as rising 4th through 7th graders in our TIP programs, or TIP Intermediate programs. We also gather some interesting data on some motivational variables. We measure students' psychological strengths when they complete the IAR. We specifically measure academic and achievement motivation, intellectual dispositions, and creative self-efficacy. And what we found is all 3 of those psychological strengths are associated with long-term achievement. So we are actually conducting longitudinal studies to see if those patterns of association with achievement are holding up with our students as they mature and move through educational levels. Our 7th grade talent search is the one that we just finished. We have a recognition ceremony coming up in the spring. We've got a good problem, and that problem is that we have more students who qualified this year than we have space. So we're trying to find larger space for our recognition ceremony, but we always hold that in April. As soon as students are admitted, they can go ahead and enroll in our Baylor TIP programs. After testing our application, the students will receive decisions of whether they were admitted within 1 month. We do holistic assessments, so we look at a number of variables from the psychological strengths to the independent areas of the assessment, as well as to the types of educational opportunities students have had over time. So as soon as students are admitted, they can start signing up for programs. In our Baylor TIP programs, we break them down across these 7 categories. Not all 7 categories are built out at this time. I'll show you some timelines of how we're continuing to build those out. One of the most attended programs we have are Super Saturday programs. We offer these on a number of Saturdays throughout the fall and spring. Those Saturdays are 3-hour morning classes and 3-hour afternoon classes. Students can do both morning and afternoon, or they can do either one or the other. And we break them down so they're available for students as young as 1st through 3rd grade, and also all the way through our students who are in high school all the way up to 11th and 12th graders. So those programs are offered across those core domains of STEM, humanities, the arts, social sciences, and business. Those are, like I said, we offer multiple versions of those every fall and every spring. Summer programs, we like to think of this as like our flagship program, our summer residentials. The residential programs are only for students in grades 8 through 12, but they live on campus here in Waco. We have 1 and 2 week options. When they come for either of those 1 or 2 week options, they live in the dorm, they eat in the cafeterias on campus. They take what, like I described earlier, is roughly undergraduate level curriculum taught by either professors or advanced doctoral students. And the students study intensely just 1 course. So like if they take, for instance, we had last summer we offered anatomy and physiology. And we get a lot of students interested in pre-med and STEM type programs. So those are most common. So some of the students that we surveyed after the anatomy and physiology said that in that 1 week of that course, they learned more about anatomy and physiology than they learned in an entire year of that same course in high school. So they do get a rigorous, intense level of learning through our summer residential programs. We also offer day programs for our TIP Intermediate kids in grades 4 through 7. Those are commuters, so we don't provide overnight accommodations. But I can tell you that last year, the average distance students came for those day programs was 109 miles. So we had students that would commute daily. We also had families that would stay in an Airbnb for a week or maybe in a hotel. Sometimes they would carpool with other families from their communities. We get a lot of students from the greater Houston area and the greater DFW area, which is not surprising considering those are our most populated areas in Texas. We are building some academic competitions that we're going to launch starting in the fall of 25. We've been working on those for a little while and should have those ready for fall 25 launch. Our Baylor TIP and Talent Advising is one of our top shelf programs. the students who participate in the talent advising in grades 8 through 12, they get a personal advisor. They review assessment results. They develop personalized plans for high school and how to combine high school with out-of-school learning opportunities like online courses at either Baylor Tip or other places. And then we also do some career planning with them so they get a sense of where they're headed as a career and how they could and should select colleges and majors based on those career aspirations. We do Baylor Tip online courses. We had a great one this year on engineering disasters. We do some young courses that with the engineering disasters were older kids. We have some advanced math courses for kids as young as 1st through 3rd grade. Those are blends of synchronous and asynchronous models, and we make them age appropriate. Like I said, we work with the youngest kids as well as older middle school and high school students. One of the things that I find quite fun, and I'm actually the leader of one of these, we have what we call clubs and societies. These are interest-based groups. They're students grouped based on strength and interest. I'm actually the developer and the leader of the Stratford on Odeon Literary Society. In that literary society, we read books, we talk about books, we talk about literary traditions. I've been introducing the students to the concept of literary criticism, and they actually read professional literary criticism on some of the texts that we're studying in the program. And just have a fantastic time. I think it's probably one of the most fun things I do is leading the Literary Society. We also have a great creative writing society led by someone who is a professional writer. She does a fantastic job teaching students to build their skills as creative writers. We're going to be launching the Math to the Max program. We've already launched some of the courses in it, but the club will launch soon. Clubs are 4 through 7, societies are 8 through 12. And then we're working toward the Thurgood Marshall Society for Law and Jurisprudence to come out in 2026. We also have quite a number of students who say they're interested in pre-law approaches when they want to go to college. Just some basic understanding of our timeline. We start communicating with districts in the early fall, and our goal is to form a district partnership when we work with districts. It's easy to become a district partner. The online form takes about 5 minutes or less to fill out. And when you become a district partner, then you're eligible for a couple of interesting benefits. One thing is we'll do an online or a face-to-face presentation for your parents to explain why they would potentially want to have their kids apply for Baylor Tip. And then we also are launching something brand new this summer, and that is if you're a district partner and we do a parent presentation for you and you have at least one kid test, we will provide you free online 30-hour training. I'll say that one more time. We will provide you free online 30-hour training that's already developed. It's asynchronous, easy for you to make available for your teachers. We've designed it with a lot of integrity about what is expected in terms of the teacher standards for gifted students. But if you are a district partner with active testing, you will get free opportunities for the 30-hour training. Our online testing begins in September and it ends in March. That's why we just are finishing in March and about to have our recognition ceremony, which is like we advertise late spring. And then the programs will begin for those students who just qualified in the summer. The only 2 months of the year we don't test are July and August. That's usually when we're reviewing all of the item level data from a year of testing. And any items that don't work well on the test, we either modify or replace with better items. So as we build our partnerships, we like to think of, if you think about the early slide, I said optimal academic development requires multiple facets. The schools do a great job, but we think of ourselves as a partner to actually achieve the optimal development for high ability kids. Our optimal development includes personalized plans, career and interest development, and helping those students see their pathway from finishing high school into colleges and to careers. One of the things that we do here at Baylor Tip, and I'll be actually talking about this quite a bit in my keynote at TAGT Leadership next week, And that's the science of exceptional performance. We think of gifted education as the science of exceptional performance. How do we learn the details of how to take a student from potential to competence to mastery, domain expertise, and then exceptional performance in a domain. Time and intensity are what we think of as educational dose. And the theory of time and intensity is that the more time you spend, the better you become at something, the more expertise you develop, and also combining that with the intensity of the curriculum. The more challenging and rigorous it is, the more intense it is. So when you add time and intensity together, that's what leads to exceptional academic performances. Then you can see across the top the 4 factors that tend to influence how much or whether a student develops toward exceptional performance. I'm super excited to work with a great team here in Waco. We go all over the state putting up our Baylor Tip booth. We've been at some school districts recently. We frequently go to conferences. We'll be at TGT Leadership this weekend. And look forward to meeting you guys there. You're always welcome to come up and ask us questions. We love talking about our programs. If you want cutting edge information, you can always go to our website. It's easy to find with a simple Google search. But we also have a Facebook page for the Baylor Center for Gifted Education and Talent Development. And our Instagram is BU Gifted. And then you can also search up our hashtag Baylor Tip, and that'll give you some, you can see some things on X as well. But thank you, Monica, for letting me have a few minutes today just to talk about what we do. And I want to reiterate that the state plan says you should make sure you share these opportunities with parents and students in your community. And that's what we ask when we create partnerships. We'll give you all the information so you can share with your families about what we're doing at Baylor. And if you become a district partner, we'll actually give online or in-person parent sessions so your parents can make informed decisions if they think it's a good opportunity for their kids. But thank you very much, Monica. It's great to
You're welcome.
see a lot of familiar faces here today and get to just share what we're doing. Like I said, our goal is to create transformative opportunities for kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Great information. And I have one last share information, and this is kind of going back to what Peggy mentioned earlier, is coming up on our summer PEAM submission. We just finished your spring submission with your end of February 1st, March 1st date. So at this time, make sure that your coordinators, your PEAMS coordinators, working with them, but also looking at making sure everyone is putting the GT coding into the SIS platform. So it's not necessarily your district's use system, but really what is being reported through PEAMS through that platform. Make sure everyone is there, everything is up to date, all corrections. So you might have a furlough student that came off furlough in January. Have they been updated in the system? So making sure everything is moving correctly. So that by the time the June report comes, because we don't want anyone to lose funding, y'all. And as you saw from her example, 20 kids made a difference in their funding. So think about that as you're cleaning up your systems in your preparation for the fall, and for the summer and in June. But I want to say thank you for those who are still with us and who are still here. And that is it for today. Our next meeting is in May, because I know next month is testing and everyone might be everywhere on your campus doing all kinds of roles and responsibilities. And then we also have GT leadership. So thank you for staying with me for a little longer than we typically do. But I think everyone got some beneficial information. I will be posting all of the provided information that I have so that you can get that at a later date. So have a great day, great weekend. Have a great rest of your week. And thank you for joining us today. Bye, everyone.